What's up, YouTube? It's your host, Dave Wave of the Big Fish Network. Finally, football is officially back for the Miami Dolphins after 2 joint practices against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We finally played a game that matters, a game that we can analyze, and a game that we actually won. Even though this is just exhibition, I just want to say fins up and shout out the coach. Congratulations for getting your first win. And you know what, y'all? We undefeated in the preseason after beating the Buccaneers 26-24. We are now 1-0. And there was a lot to like in this game. From a strategic standpoint, it was good to see the chess match between 2 head coaches who are going to be calling the plays on their sides of the ball where they have the most experience. And it was literally that. It was chess, not checkers. Mike McDaniel had to find a way to outthink Todd Bowles in different parts of the game. And I was proud of Mike. He showed some good game awareness to me. Him icing the kicker by using our final timeout was a really good call, because you'll be surprised how many veteran head coaches would not make that call. And if you got a timeout, I mean, why not use it? So I was happy to see that. That showed off the intelligence that people raved about when it came to Mike McDaniel. And also, I think a lot of questions got answered about how this offense and this defense is going to look under the first-year head coach, Mike McDaniel. Defensively, we all know what to expect with the starters in the game. But we got to see a lot of our UFDAs and young players play on defense. Some of our starters played on both sides of the ball, like Mike Gesicki, Robert Hunt, Andrew Van Ginkel played, and some of our O-line players also played. I saw Sam McGovern, who I consider him a starter in certain packages. We used to use him on twist blitzes last year, and he created turnovers for us. He made a hell of a play this game with the scoop and score. Sony Michel started at running back, and what probably shocked all of us, at least it shocked me, was that rookie Skylar Thompson not only started the game, but he played the whole game, and he finished the game. He got to play with the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. Teddy Bridgewater didn't play, he sat on the bench. I mean, this could possibly mean one or two things, or all of the above. Either he beat out Teddy for the number 2 spot already, and the coaches just want to see more, or the coaches plan to have Teddy start next game and also play the whole game, which I think is a different strategy and a good strategy in my opinion, because it could give the coaches a better evaluation of not only their skill set and the system, but also it allows them to evaluate the mindset of the quarterback. How does he handle lead changes? I thought Skylar played a hell of a game, and I was impressed with his mechanics and everything I saw. He not only showed poise, but I liked his decisiveness in the pocket with the football. I liked his ability to sell the play action, which we ran a lot of. You saw the pre-snap motion that I talked about on the Tua's new playbook, 94 Young Seaford West Coast offense that I made, that video. Y'all go back and check that out if you didn't get a chance to. But we motioned our wide receivers damn near on every single play, which I was highly impressed with and I liked. Because as I stated before, in the West Coast offense, the motion receiver can reveal coverage of what the defense is in. If the DB or the defender follows the motion receiver or the back, that means that the defense is in man coverage. While the receiver's in motion, you got a lot of things you can do. You know, you can read the linebackers and either audible to a different play in that same formation, or you can hot route to the receivers or the backs, adjust the protection while identifying the mic and changing their patterns. Mike McDaniel's play calling was superb in my opinion, as far as running split back formations, which is what I wanted to see, and running plays, multiple plays out of the same formation, which I hope to see Tua do all season. And Tua should know how to audible to all of the running plays and the check downs out of the same formation, depending on what he sees, depending on how the D-line is aligned and how the linebackers are playing it. Mike also did a great job of creating deception, using those concepts and getting whatever he wanted with options. Let's break down each quarter from all 3 phases. First quarter, the defense started the game, and Blaine Gabbert for the Buccaneers, he ended up being their starting quarterback this game. We played man and got pressure on Blaine. There were times where Jalen Phillips, I think, could have disengaged from his man and got a sack, but he didn't. He did get some pressure, though. And then the defense forced the Bucs offense into a 3-and-out. I think we did a good job of stopping the attempted screenplay on third down, and then the Bucs punted. Then we got the ball on offense. Skylar Thompson, he started the game at quarterback and completed his first pass to Mike Gesicki. Sony Michel started at running back. We opened in split backs, which as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes. River Craycraft and Cedric Wilson were in at wide receiver. Wilson and Gesicki were targeted the most on this drive, and they were both targeted and made plays to move the chains. Like I said, we had pre-snap motion on every play this series except the play inside the red zone on third down. Skylar played efficient, but he did take a sack. We got stopped for short gains and couldn't run the ball. Then we ended the first drive with a field goal to put us up 3-0. Defense got back on the field. Duke Riley made a tackle this series, and I noticed that we got pushed back off the line on some of these runs. We let Giovanni Bernard get a real nice run. Then we stopped them short of the first down, which was good, but then they ran a toss play to convert on 4th and 1. Run toss plays, Mike McDaniel, on short yardage situations. It works. I like the idea of running that, especially to counter certain blitzes. I hope we run that toss play this year. Blaine Gabbert was then able to find wide receiver Tyler Johnson this series, who had a 21-yard gain on us and didn't have any problems against our DBs. Then Blaine Gabbert found wide receiver Jalen Darden on a skinny post for touchdown. Looks like Brandon Jones got beat on that play. And Darden, they say he was making some of our DBs look ridiculous in joint practice, and he got open for a score. Scotty Miller was also open on that play because we played soft coverage, which I didn't like. But Gabbert was 5 for 5, and that put the Bucs up 7-3. Then the offense got the ball again. Ahmed was in that running back. He didn't do much. We went 3-and-out and ended the drive with a punt. Second quarter, defense on the field. Quarterback Kyle Trask comes in for the Buccaneers, and he's in that quarterback for the rest of the game after this. Brennan Scarlett made a nice tackle. Keon Crossan was step for step with Speedy Scott Miller to deflect an attempted bomb from Kyle Trask. Then it was a good tackle for loss by Benito Jones. Wide receiver Tyler Johnson then made a catch in traffic and got a big gain for 22 yards after breaking a nice tackle and getting yacked. Then Ben Steele, you saw him on the field. On this series, he wasn't able to overpower the guard and push him into the quarterback. So I think he got to get stronger in the weight room and be stronger with his bull rush. But Trask was able to march them down the field, completing the screenplay and then getting the ball to running back Keyshawn Vaughn. Running back Keyshawn Vaughn then dove over the pile at the 1-yard line for touchdown, and that put them up 14-3. So we down 3-14. Offense gets back on the ball. At 6:23, we made a great play action pass to wide receiver Trent Sherfield. Good pass, Skylar Thompson, and good vision of finding Sherfield in the zone. Tanner Conner then made a good catch on a crosser, and then he made another good catch, and then Skylar gets sacked. I didn't like the call to go to shotgun tight on this play. I would have ran a toss play because they were blitzing, but we ended up kicking a field goal to bring the score to 6-14. Defense gets back on the field. Trask got pressure from Gustin and Benito Jones and threw a pick to cornerback Elijah Campbell, who had good vision and a good nose for the football. Good concentration is what he showed also to get that pick. Then that gave the offense the ball back. Skylar Thompson, he comes back in. He's on 4th down. He throws a bomb to Lynn Bowden Jr., who beat his man on an out and up and caught the ball in the corner of the end zone. Great play for Thompson's first touchdown to put us up 13-14. Best pass so far. Left tackle Larnell Coleman also did a good job on the play, blocking the edge rusher. Then defense gets back on the field to defend, and we forced another fumble. Darius Hodge forced it using good hand technique to get around the defender, and Sam McGovern got into the box with a scoop and score to put us up 20-14. Elijah Campbell made a good hit that looked like a fumble but got called an incomplete pass, and we gave up a touchdown after this to make the score 20-21 because Kyle Trask drove down the field and scored. Third quarter, 14:51, beginning of the half, Skylar with a deep intermediate pass to Lynn Bolton Jr., and we ended that drive with a field goal, 23-21. Then the Bucks answered with a field goal of their own to make it 23-24. Now we on to the fourth quarter. The offense got the ball. Dokes is in at running back. I like the dig pass to Eazy-E. Muhammad Sanu also had some good catches this drive, and Skylar had a good scramble to move the ball also. Real good scramble. Then Skylar threw an almost pick this quarter, trying to pass the ball away, but the Bucks cornerback Don Gardner, who was getting beat by Eazy-E in practice, in joint practices, he made a good play on the ball. Almost had the toe drag swag and had his toes down, but it kind of came up right as his other foot got out of bounds, and the refs call it incomplete. Then Jason Sanders kicks another field goal to put us back up 26-23. Defense gets on the field. Ben Steele gets pressure this time. And then number 97, I don't know his name, he made a sack from the pressure. He got hurt also in this quarter. DB Trill Williams also got hurt, and I thought Trill played all right this game. I think he played good enough to give you confidence that he can get maybe a practice roster spot, maybe get in the rotation. Channing Tindall made some tackles this quarter. So I was encouraged by that too. I was hoping that we could see Channing. I didn't heard him for from the beginning of the game. I thought maybe he was going to be with the starters, but he played in the fourth quarter and he did get some tackles. Let's take a look at the stats on offense. At quarterback, Skylar completed 20 passes out of 28 attempts and threw for 218 yards with a touchdown, no interceptions. He had a passer rating of 106 and was very accurate with the football. And it kind of makes you see how accurate Tua can be running some of these same plays. He did take 3 sacks for negative 25 yards, but I still like the line play and pass protection. Fans, the line is not going to be perfect. If they give up a sack, did the sack stop us from losing the game? That's the question you want to ask. Sometimes with line play, we get too caught up in statistics. Did they give Skylar enough protection to execute the offense? Yes, they did. So y'all stop complaining if y'all want to complain about the 3 sacks that he took. After watching this game, I feel confident in him starting the game due to injury. If Tua was to get hurt or Teddy Bridgewater to get hurt, this game gave me the confidence that Skylar can do the damn thing. I still want to see Bridgewater play before I anoint Skylar as the number 2, but shit. I mean, shit, he was impressive. He's making me a believer so far. Our running game, that's a different story. That was still atrocious. And Eric Stewsville, you getting me heated, bro. I don't know if it's you, but there's a common denominator. When you're on a team, our running game ain't that good. Even with Mike McDaniel was the head coach. What the hell is going on with that? We use 5 running backs, folks. And Skylar Thompson almost became the fucking leader receiver. The leading rusher. He almost became the leading rusher on the team with 25 yards. That's a damn shame. Myles Gaskin had 27 yards, but Skylar had the highest yards per carry also with 8.3. Sony had negative 2 yards. Zaquandre had negative 5 yards. Jared Dokes only gained 4. Salvin Ahmed gained 0 yards. That got to change, And to be fair to Stewsville, though, none of them were able to get into a rhythm. None of them got enough touches. With Flores, we didn't have a lot of games where we ran the ball 20 or more times. We need to have that. You got to be able to adjust to teams that you're playing. You have to be able to have some games where the strategy is to hold the ball, run play action, and utilize that 3-headed monster. Even though we were able to win the game, I still think as a team we need to work on this running game. We only had 14 carries for 49 yards as a team. I hope preseason game, maybe our 3rd preseason game, I think we should pound the football and practice our running game. Don't worry about the passing game is there. I see it from this first game. Work on running the football and practicing that so we can form that three-headed monster, which I talked about in the Tua's new playbook series, Shula's three-headed monster. Y'all go check that out if you haven't already. Y'all gonna love that video and y'all gonna understand what I mean by that. At wide receiver, Lynn Bowden Jr. got the most targets, which shows me that we need to remove him from trade discussions. I'm sorry, we need to keep him on this team. Definitely try to trade Preston Williams, but we got to keep Bowden. He's been working with Tua this offseason, and I can tell he's gotten much better at the position, and he can be used on Wildcat plays. Y'all check out my video on the Tua's new playbook series, Bring Back the Wildcat. I explain why Mike should include that in the running game and run it at least one whole series, or even twice per game. Watch that video, y'all will see why I say that. Bowden had 3 recs for 55 yards and a touchdown, 18.3 average per rec. Mohamed Sanu also gave him some work as well. Cedric Wilson, him and Said both had 3 targets with around the same amount of yards. And Sherfield caught that long pass. All 3 had around about 30 yards. Eric Nzukama had 3 targets and caught 2 passes for 18 yards. He only flashed a little bit, but I can tell that he has ability to break tackles. So I'll be interested to see what he does in the open field. Tight end Tanner Connor, he had 3 recs for 25 yards and 3 targets. And I thought the O-line did a good job overall. I was impressed, like I said, with Larnell Coleman. We had 9 passing first downs and only 3 rushing first downs. We got no first downs from penalties, so they gave us no help, which is good. We were 2 for 10 on third down conversions, which is bad. That needs to improve. And we didn't go for it on any fourth downs. I ain't worried about that. No fumbles lost and no interceptions thrown. So we played a clean game, no turnovers. What does that tell me? That tells me that the TNT wall from the Flores era, sabotaged, is still in effect. And Mike's culture is following suit so far from this game. But that could change. Let's wait and see. Defensive stats. Blaine Gabbert went 5 for 5 to start the game for 56 yards and a touchdown. He bombed first with a well-executed drive in the first. And then Bucks quarterback Kyle Trask came in and he played very well against us, in my opinion. He went 25 for 33 and passed for 258 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with a 95.3 QBR. We allowed 88 rushing yards from their combination of backs. Rashad White, he hurt us the most. I think he had like 30-something yards. And we allowed 314 passing yards. And wide receiver Tyler Johnson was the most effective against us with 6 recs for 73 yards on 7 targets. If they let him go and we get rid of Preston Williams, I wouldn't mind adding Tyler Johnson as a wide receiver to our squad, maybe the practice squad. Cornerback or DB D'Angelo Ross led the team in tackles with 8 tackles, 7 solo, but they weren't good in my opinion because he was getting toasted. So that's why he made them tackles on plays that the wide receivers caught the ball. Veron McKinley III has 6 tackles, 6 solo, which is good. Cameron Good has 6 tackles, 5 solo. Our draft pick this year made plays. Benito Jones had 5 total tackles, 3 solo, and a tackle for loss. I would say Benito Jones probably played the best on defense, in my opinion. And I think he needs to make this team. He was around the football and created pressure consistently. Rookie linebacker Channing Tindall had 4 total tackles, 3 solo. And I would even say Darius Hodge also played a great game. He had 3 total tackles, 1 solo, and 1 sack. To me, that sounds like a little bit to y'all, but when you watch the game, Darius Hodge made an impact play that helped us in this game. So I'm gonna say he had a good game. On special teams, Jason Sanders was perfect. He went 4 for 4 on field goals and helped us win this game. Made all his extra points. And Lynn Bowden Jr. also did a great job on kickoff and punt return duties. Again, if Lynn Bowden can stay healthy, he needs to make this team. We should pay close attention to Brian Daboll and what the New York Giants are doing over there and see how they going to run the Wildcat this year and how they going to use wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, who came from that Kentucky program, and see how they're going to use him this year in the NFC. One of the segments that I'm going to have every post game is going to be called Players or Scheme. And on that segment, I watch the game, I analyze the game, and if we won or lost, I ask you, the fans, and I also tell you what I think as far as how did we win the game or how did we lose the game? Was it because of the players, or was it because of the scheme, or was it both? This game, I'm going to say it was both. I think the scheme was great, especially on offense. Defense, we got to find a way to stop the run, and we got to stop giving quarterbacks too much time. I think that is something that actually kind of hurt us last year and caused those 7 losses that we had, because I think the defense didn't tighten up early enough in the season. 2019, same thing. Yeah, we lost a lot of games, but once we ran that amoeba defense, once we got closer to the receivers, let me take that back. 2019, 2020, just under Flores, we played a lot of man coverage, but we didn't play the same. It's like we played the defense we should have played in the beginning of the season and mid-season, and then we go on an 8-game winning streak. I mean, come on, man. Start fast. That's what we got to do. Now, next, who's the big fish ballers of preseason in week 1? That's another segment I'm going to have every single week. Every game we play, I'm going to mention my list of players that I felt were big fish ballers for this team. And usually they're going to be 10 players, but for preseason, because we had so many players play, I got more than 10. On my list of big fish ballers for this game, of course, quarterback Skylar Thompson, who played a hell of a game. Wide receiver Cedric Wilson, who made plays for Skylar in the first quarter and looked pretty good. I'm interested to see what we do with him. Wide receiver Lynn Bowden Jr., of course, who I think is the player of the game overall. If you look on both sides of the ball, he was the best player of this game. Tight end Tanner Connor. Hell yeah, he makes my big fish baller list for sure. Even though he only had a few catches, I like what I saw from Tanner Connor. He was out there playing hard. I like that. And he shows promise. Maybe we can line him up with Gesicki on certain formations instead of having Durham Smythe in there. Mike, I know Durham is your dog, but if Tanner Connor is better, he needs to take that spot. Defensive tackle Benito Jones, he damn sure makes the list. Porter Gustin, he makes my list. Ben Steele makes my list. Darius Hodge, he also makes the big fish baller list. Duke Riley at linebacker makes the list. Sam McGuavin with the scoop and score, he makes the list. Elijah Campbell makes my big fish baller list. And Keon Crossan also makes the list. And you know what? Jason Sanders makes this list. If he didn't make those field goals, we wouldn't have won this game. Last time Shula played the Buccaneers was 1991. We went 8-8 this season and finished 3rd in the division. Even though we ended the season at 500, it was considered one of Shula's worst games. And last time Shula played the Buccaneers, let's look at that. That was 1991. We went 8-8 this season and finished 3rd in the division. Even though we ended the season at 500, this was probably considered one of Shula's worst by his standards. Still, we dominated the game against the Tampa Bay Bucs and won 33-14. And I would say this is the perfect game to watch and study to see how Shula deployed Tony Martin at wide receiver. Remember, Duper and Clayton are the main threat, similar to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Teams are going to eventually try to figure out ways to take one of them out of the game, if not both of them. And, you know, both your 3rd and 4th receivers, they got to be almost just as good as your 1st and 2nd receiver. And, you know, you got to have a unique plan on how you're going to deploy them in 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. And you also want to have a plan for how they're going to be used in the event that they become starters and have to play due to injuries to our primary receivers. Shula had all of that figured out. He had contingency plans. And the Bucs coaches this game, they tried to key up on stopping Duper and Clayton, even grabbing and holding. And it was one play with, they was grabbing and holding Duper while he almost scored a touchdown, and it was pass interference. He kicked the pylon. That's how mad he was. And he was frustrated. But wide receiver Tony Martin feasted this game. Marino was flicking the football out of split back formations. As you can see, split back, split back, split back. And they tried their best, but they couldn't stop the Marks brothers either. Duper scored a touchdown near the red zone. And the best throw from Dan was a bomb to Tony before the end of the half. Tony stretched out for the catch with good extension. And he finished the game with 5 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. That game put Marino over 3,000 yards for the 8th time at this point in his career. And he finished the game completing 20 passes on 32 attempts. Had 307 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. Running back Mark Higgs also went off this game, running out of split back I formation. And what I like too is you saw fullback Tony Page on a play actually faking like he's blocking the one hole and then throwing off the defender, then cutting with Mark Higgs to lead him to the different lane on the outside for touchdown. And our defense held him to 14 points. So that, I like to go back to Shula and look at what he did against the teams we face. And that's also what I'm going to do probably every single game. My final thoughts on this game is this was a great win. Even though it was mostly second and third stringers, I think we're off to a good start. And with the play calling, I could see Tua creating a lot of deception and Mike using him on play action rollouts and waggles. And, the only thing that I'll nitpick on schematically with the play calling, I got to nitpick on this because I saw it and it's something that I want to see some variations to this in every single game. I want Mike McDaniel to alternate our fullbacks. Don't just use a lead blocking fullback. Use John Levitt. Put Jared Dokes in at fullback and hand him the ball. Send him out on angle routes or flare routes, button hooks in the zone. Do stuff like that. If Dokes can't possibly do that, then ask Chris Greer to contact Bo Scarborough. He's looking for a team. He's a free agent. He played with Tua. He's a power back. He's built like Derrick Henry. Let's go get him. And also, when we run split back formations, don't just run it in I form and strong formations. Shula was brilliant with keeping the defense off guard by mixing up his split back looks and motioning his fullback near the tight end to create a single back ace look or a 3 wide receiver set out of the split backs. This is going to set up the single back looks that we should sprinkle in every now and then. Yes, I'm happy we ran a lot of split backs and shotgun, but sprinkle in a single back and add the RPO pistol playbook that Stewsville and Godsey used last year when Tua was at quarterback. I covered that in the Tua's new playbook series, Alabama RPO pistol. Y'all make sure and watch that. But that's all I got for today. I got more videos on the way. If you like this video, please subscribe to the Big Fish Network and become a member, become a part of the family. Click the bell for notifications and follow me on Twitter and all socials. But other than that, leave a comment. Tell me what you thought about the game. Till next time, signing off, TBFN.